New Zealand is sending troops to Europe to help transport weapons into Ukraine. A 50-strong Defence Force team will deploy with the C-130 Hercules for 2 months, departing Wednesday.
And in a major change of position, the government has also announced it will now fund weapons and ammunition for the Ukrainian forces. Political editor Jenna Lynch has the details.
Smoke rising on Kharkiv's skyline, a city in ruins as Russia embarked on yet another day of atrocities in Ukraine. Countries the world over are scrambling to send in supplies but struggling to shift them across the border. So we're going in. The New Zealand Defence Force is deploying to Europe.
This is a significant contribution for us to make from the other side of the world, recognising that our people can make a difference.
New Zealand is sending 50 troops in a C-130 Hercules. They will not cross the border into Ukraine, rather transport equipment and supplies to the border. A further 8 logistics specialists will be based in Germany, coordinating the flow of aid and supplies to Ukraine. It's the biggest New Zealand deployment to Europe since Bosnia.
We've always tried to ask ourselves, though, is what is the most meaningful thing that New Zealand can do and how can we do it? When the ask came for logistical support, people, the C-130, that was a good fit with what we could make sure we were able to deploy quickly.
We will not be contributing New Zealand weapons to the fight, but the government has changed its tune on lethal aid. Not only will we be transporting weapons, we will fund them.
This sits squarely with New Zealand's values. Here we have a clear breach of the international rules-based order.
We'll now provide $7.5 million to the UK so they can buy weapons and ammunition for the Ukrainians on our behalf. Weapons which, despite desperate pleas from Ukraine, we had until now shied away from funding.
Everyone can see there is evidence around war crimes and impact on civilians. This is New Zealand playing our part, and it's a significant part.
And if those crimes don't stop,
the global response to this violent breach of international law will not stop until Russia stops.
This may not be the end.
Kia ora, Jenna. Why are we getting the UK to buy weapons on our behalf?
Basically, we don't really have enough weapons. For instance, we are sitting on some anti-tank Javelin missiles, which have been crucial in Ukraine's fight. But the Chief of Defence revealed today that what we're sitting on would only last for about 5 minutes of warfare. If we were to step up our response at all at this point, it would likely come in the form of a larger or longer deployment of the same style. Logistics, funding, intelligence playing to our strengths. Now, this all comes as Jacinda Ardern announced today her first international trip after 2 years locked in New Zealand. Next week she will be travelling to Singapore and Japan. She'll obviously have meetings with the leadership over there, and no doubt Ukraine will be near the top of the agenda of those meetings.
Political editor Jenna Lynch, tēnā koe.